This is Matthew J. Moore with Cryptocurrency with Matthew J. Moore. This is Bitcoin Day, Oklahoma City, 2022. I'm sitting here with Brian, but Brian, please say and spell your name.
Brian Harrington, BrianHarrington.
For those who are unaware, what do you do and what is your title? I know you work for Choice, is that right?
Yep. Yeah, so my day job is I'm the Bitcoin lead at Choice, which just means I'm the Bitcoiner. Like I sit in our marketing communications channel and I sit with our product team, and we're an IRA that pays people Bitcoin. And so I just represent like being a Bitcoiner. In my off time, I'm a volunteer for the Orange County Bitcoin Network, which is in Southern California. And I just appreciate what Bitcoin is doing for people. And so that's what I do. I am a Bitcoiner.
I love it. Well, thanks for coming to Oklahoma City for Bitcoin Day. This has been great. How long exactly have you been involved in Bitcoin?
Yeah, so I have one email from my dad in 2014 that says the word Bitcoin in it, but I signed up for Coinbase with him in 2015, and that's when we started buying. And then my girlfriend, now wife, we bought her first Bitcoin purchase was at the end of 2015 then. So me and my wife, Shireen, have been doing it together since 2015.
You know, destiny can often be ironic, and I was listening to your talk, and you'd mentioned it was even in the year 2015 that you were helping a central banker run for governor in California. Tell me a little bit about that, and have you redeemed yourself?
Exactly. So it was actually right before. So he was running in 2014, and that was like, I worked on campaigns from 2013 all the way up until honestly, 2020, and it's been this just phasing out. 2018, it's been this phasing out of becoming more and more disenfranchised with kind of politics as normal, and then getting more ramped up in Bitcoin. And so, yeah, I had this funny picture with Neil Kashkari running for governor of California, and I wish I had, again, been focused on my dad's email with the word Bitcoin in it and focused on what I was doing instead of helping, central bankers become governors.
Well, I love it. Well, you mentioned that we as Bitcoiners are in the middle of writing the financial landscape and strategies for the future and around Bitcoin. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So look, I'm a big personal finance nerd. Like I grew up on Dave Ramsey. Like my parents taught me how to budget. Like I want to say I have pretty decent fundamentals when it comes to personal finance. With that being said, budgeting is hard. Budgeting while married is harder. And then what I said is budgeting while married in two currencies during this transition between the dollar to Bitcoin is very, very hard. There's no one out there with the just go-to personal finance show on here's the ABC, simple steps, baby steps on like what to do with this thing. We're writing those live. Like I believe Bitcoin Twitter and shows like your show and just what people are doing is we're coming up with the personal finance advice right now in real time.
That's true. That's definitely true. You made mention that cash is trash, and I agree. A lot of people will say cash is king. In fact, I think Dave Ramsey even says that a lot. What do you say about that narrative, and what would you say to those who are following Dave Ramsey?
Yeah. I would just say, it's not true. Like the dollar is losing to goods and services every single day. Like where I live in Southern California, the price of an average townhouse goes up per week more than I make in a week. That's a hamster wheel that is like not working for people. $6 a gallon gas for people to go to their hourly wage job is a hamster wheel that's not working for people. The dollar as a medium exchange is just beginning to not work for people. And so it does not protect your time and labor into the future. It does not work as a savings instrument into the future.
That's so true. Well, let's speak about you made comments about the HCH and the evolution with Bitcoin. For our listeners, can you describe ACH and just briefly, but how Bitcoin is relating to that right now?
So ACH, I believe, stands for Automated Clearinghouse, and it just simply means like the way that banks send money back and forth to each other, or how we all use Venmo or Cash App or any of these things to like send digital dollars back and forth to each other. To me, as the more that I more and more break this down, like we hold banks on these like big pedestals where they're like really important things that are super important to our lives. So that's not true. Like all they actually really do is take our paycheck from our employer and put it into like our bank account. And there's now Bitcoin apps that are able to take our paycheck from our employer and put it into Bitcoin. And so that's just me realizing that like technology and the apps are moving so fast that we're still holding these big banks like on a pedestal of like we need them in our lives when we don't. Like there's apps on our phone that serve us and serve our families better.
Yeah. Word. Well, you mentioned that Bitcoin is kind of taking on this 1776 vibe. I agree with that. Can you expound upon that a little bit?
Yeah, so Oklahoma is like the 6th or 7th state that I've visited in person and talked to Bitcoiners in person and felt the local vibe of what they've been doing. And to be honest, like one of the people asked in the next session, how's Oklahoma doing, relating to other Bitcoin communities? And I would already like super celebrate the people of Oklahoma and them in Bitcoin. I'd rank you guys in like top 10% like in the country, honestly, like already, like the Bitcoin meetups that's here, the things that I'm hearing like oil and gas producers saying here is all very dialed in. And so I'm just from like a different colony that's doing this and leaving the dollar and moving into Bitcoin, and I'm just stopping by to see what I can learn like from you guys and share encouragement and receive encouragement myself. And when I think about what founding fathers did, kind of like traveling from colony to colony and swapping notes, it just feels very similar to me.
I love it. Well, we're definitely building allies here, and one thing that you mentioned is you have a unique take on hyper Bitcoinization, where it's happening now live instead of this magical moment that happens in 30 years. Expound upon that.
Yeah, so it's combining both those things you just asked me about. You asked me about the ACH network, and then you asked me about the local communities swapping notes with each other. When you combine both of those things, you as an individual don't have to wait for any laws to change. You as an individual don't have to wait for anyone else to switch to Bitcoin. You as the individual can switch to Bitcoin because there's already other humans around you doing it. There's already a network of other humans around you doing it that's growing every single day. And the tools that make your life easier instead of complicated and add friction are here every day. And so there's no magic time where we're all going to get tapped on the shoulder and be like, hey, like, Bitcoin has advanced to this magic moment. Like, it's very organic, bottoms up, the same way that, Uber or Airbnb or any of these things like took over and grew from the bottom up and were able to spread into, every county in America. That's the same thing happening with Bitcoin.
Hey, amen. Well, last final question. Where can people find you if they want to learn more or follow you?
Yeah, so Twitter, Brian Harrington, Brain like in your head, Harrington. My DMs are open. Like I want to hear from you if you're in Oklahoma and just have questions about Bitcoin, or if you, go to these meetups. Like go to these meetups, talk to the local guys that are here. But then, search Brian Harrington on YouTube. I run a podcast called Bitcoin is Hard, and we're coming out with an Oklahoma episode of Bitcoin is Local also. So look for that.
Awesome. Hardest money in the world. All right. Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Yeah,